I am becoming a beacon of light in the night. In the midst of streets of our townships, leadership arises. And in the midst of it all, we still remain with peaceful hearts. In the midst of it all, we remain with spirits that are optimistic. We rise, we rise, we rise. Leadership chooses to arise in situations that were deemed to have been against our prosperity. Leadership arises in situations that were declared to be against our prosperity. We rise and choose to rise. I am becoming a beacon of light in the midst of the night.
I wouldn't miss this opportunity. What an opportunity to come here and share the stories about the book that I've written. I'm looking forward to the interview. I'm hoping that all will go well.
What happens when you believe a learner can achieve anything? When you give them values, vision, and voice. This is Columba leadership. This is transformation. These are the learners who prove it's possible. They were told they were too young, too disadvantaged, too far from opportunity. But Columba leadership saw something different. Potential, purpose, and direction. Today they are not just learners. They are authors, business owners, national champions, community leaders. This is the change you're about to witness.
And yes, I do have my own organization. I got the idea of starting an after-school program whereas I can help the kids in the community.
And officially this year, I became an official young author. And I published a story in this book.
Well, my name is Faith and I'm a deputy president here at Tlhokomelo Secondary School.
So my vision is to create a school environment whereby we have the mentorship, programs, we have the diversity and inclusion workshops, and also the student-led project whereby that promotes social responsibility and community involvement and all those kind of projects like that.
I will be a change maker. And then Columba came, and then I had that change. I felt the change in me.
It also helped me boost my confidence and being able to talk in front of big crowds.
I am a leader and I make a difference.
My name is Vusmus Mavoya. I'm the president of the school.
I would also love to say in every pageant that I got, I never lost the title because of the confidence that I had and the leadership style that I've applied that came from Columba.
I was struggling with my academics, but the Columba leaders, they came through to say, you know what, we're gonna teach you how to focus.
I got a chance to actually be a part of studio recording sessions where I recorded my very first song that was a STEM song. And a month ago, I recorded my very first music video, STEM music video, in this very library.
Now, I was top 5 of physics this year.
With my garden, I started a spinach business that helped me.
2023, I got recognized by the Mayor of City of Cape Town, Jordan H. Lewis, for the Civic Awards.
I attended the Leadership Academy last year at Letsatsi Game Lodge, and that is where I got the motivation to write this book during a book launch. It will be part of my leadership credits, whereby I will now be recognized as the young author amongst them all.
I was part of the debate team and I'm also the reigning champion of the spelling bee. So standing ovation, yes. Thank you.
In a few minutes, we'll be live here in the Columba studio. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Hi, I'm Konaya Zaza, a grade 11 learner from Ntebenziswano Senior Secondary School in Cape Town, Philippi. I'm also a Columba graduate. In our project, we first had to identify the challenge that we are facing in the community. So we identified that in our community, we have a challenge that young leaders do not really know how to read. So we decided that, okay, we're going to donate books, and then after donating the books, we're going to teach the leaders how to read. And then we hope to see that with us teaching the young leaders how to read, we hope to see that in the next coming years, seeing them being able to read, being able to explain whatever they have read to others, and also that improves their communication skills, because if you know how to read, you can be able to communicate with others. We first teach them about the cover page, what do they see, and what do they think the story is going to be about. After we have read, we start asking questions to make sure that they were listening and they were also focusing on the story that we have read. When we ask the questions, we notice that they start to develop understanding. So I think it was very important for us to read as well as ask questions to check for understanding. When we first went to the creatures, we went there and then we told them about our story. We told them about our vision for our community, and then we explained to them what is it that we are doing this for, what is it that we are hoping to see in the near future by doing this. And then they started to like the ideas that we came with. They started liking the vision, and then we were like, okay, let's work together and try to groom these young leaders to be leaders of tomorrow. Let's try to groom these young leaders to be leaders that are going to lead iFilipi to be a better place.
As we are about to dive deep into what it means to be a leader, a prisoner of clarity, stay tuned.
In few minutes, I'll be having this opportunity of telling my stories and getting interviewed by Columba. I'm looking forward to it. Please join us as we enjoy our talk.
Welcome to the Legacy series by Columba Leadership. This is where we explore stories that shape leaders, inspire others, and build lasting impact. My name is Kelebogile and I will be your host today. Today's conversation is very powerful because we're joined by three incredible authors who speak about leadership in different but deeply connected ways. And one of the most powerful ways leaders can preserve their voices is through books that outlive boardrooms, speeches, and seasons. Today we explore the minds, stories, and journeys of leaders who understand that true leadership is not only about success or what you have done, but it's about the legacy we leave behind. Thank you for joining us today, but don't forget to invite others to join. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can start by telling us where you're watching the show from. I'd like to welcome you all here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you guys please just introduce yourselves?
Thank you so much for the platform. My name is Karabo, Digasho, a rising star from the dusty streets of Tembisa. Most people know me by my mantra, a mystery that is still yet to be discovered. I matriculated 2019 from Tembisa Secondary School, which is now gazetted as a school of specialization in commerce and entrepreneurship with a focus on hospitality and tourism. And I am a 2017 alumni Columba leadership group. Who is Karabo? I'm an author. Amongst the spheres of my abilities, I'm very passionate with writing. I'm an actress. I'm a poet. Ngiyathakazela. Ngilihlubikazi mina. Umashiya amhlanje ngawenyamazana sikolo sesimehla mvusithe masibheka umuntu simjamele ngilubeza mile endaweni embi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. That's so lovely.
I'm Wandile James Makhubu, a former school principal, retired. I've started a school from scratch, Unity High School, where I've been a principal for 39 years. I'm an author as well. I've written a book, Vagabond Principal, Dodging Bullets. A very interesting book to read so that people can learn more about what is happening inside a township school. I'm also a member. I've been with the Columba for many years, and I've been supporting them, I think, more than 5 years. And they've assisted us. I'll come more about that later.
Thank you so much.
I'm Tlhokomelo Phalatsi from Free State Bloemfontein. I just matriculated last year and I wrote a book about dyslexia.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so Karabo, would you just tell us about who you are at the core?
I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter, and I would love to say I'm a philanthropist. You know, looking at where I come from, it has made me view life in a different way, to a point that I would say the core Karabo has changed. The core Karabo has advanced. The core Karabo has adapted to what life throws at us, you know. So I don't really have much to say about my core because, as I am saying, I'm a mystery that is still yet to be discovered, meaning I am also learning the layers of myself that are still uprooting. You get my point? So I really don't have much to say when we're saying who is Karabo at the core. But Karabo is everything and more that is mostly bright, shining, and anything and everything that comes within the spheres of my abilities. That's who Karabo is.
Would you say like where you come from, your background has shaped who you are or who you're still becoming?
Most definitely. I'm coming from a very disorientated township wherein when you make it out, mostly when you pass your matric with distinctions or you pass your matric just advancing your school, you get enrolled in university, you are said to be different. You are an example. You are what parents use an example to reprimand their kids, you see. So I would have fallen trapped to the disadvantages that my township bring forth. You know, there's no motivation, there's no inspiration. So that's why I'm saying I can't really express who I am fully because I'm still learning the layers of myself outside of that township, you see. That is just that.
That is so good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And what about you, Mr. Makhubu?
Wandile Makhubu is a very, very passionate parent. I love parenting. I love to take care of the vulnerable. I love to look at those who are written off by the society and try to empower them. I'm a teacher by profession. I chose this profession for a reason because I love working with young people. I've been working with people even before I became a teacher. That is why I was inspired to be a teacher. I just love children.
You said you're a parent. Would you say that like you see your students
more like your kids. You become a parent to them more than a teacher.
All children are my children. Whether the ones that were at my school, those I interacted with them directly, they are all my children, because I've inspired more than the ones that I'm responsible for. So all children that I meet, I make sure, like today I met these, the first thing I asked them, how is your schoolwork? Because I'm interested in their progress.
Leave a lasting impact on all of them.
Yes, yes.
What about you, Tlhokomelo? Please tell us about your core.
I'm a problem solver, and I like creating solutions to problems that are affecting other people. And I'm a curious person, so I love doing research about topics that people are afraid to talk about. And I'm also empathic because I know how people's words can affect you and how they can also break your confidence.
That is actually so true. So you're not afraid of talking about the uncomfortable stuff that everyone tends to shy away from, right?
Yes, I'm not.
Mr. Makhubu, as a big principal, right, how did Columba have like an impact on your journey and shape the way your leadership skills were?
Now, as I was saying off camera, our school has been performing, not because of our wisdom, but because of the networking that we have. And Columba played a significant role in shaping the lives of our children. Columba, they taught us one thing, that even when you want to have leaders, you don't just have leaders of the brightest in the class. You must be able to draw from even those who are discouraged, even those who don't have confidence in themselves. We've done that. And it was so amazing to see a boy child, who, like I said, was written off by society, who was coming back to us to say, I have social ill problems, I've got problems at home, and I'm discouraged, I want to be a rebel. And then you go to Columba, the program, the boy comes back with so much confidence. And many of them, as I speak now, they are gainfully employed and they are making impact outside of the school because of the lessons that they've learned from Columba. I've got good stories to tell even about the teachers who joined, because the Columba, I think we're focusing more on leading the learners to lead, how to lead. But now that also impacted the teachers themselves, because my teachers, when they came back there, that is why they were fighting to go every time there was another opportunity. They would say, no, I'm going, because others told them that, yeah, you go there, it does not change your life only in terms of being a professional. It also assists you to understand what is happening outside of the school, including your family. So Columba has done so much to improve the lives of so many, many children that we were together with, because there's networking as well. We go there, you meet other children from other schools, and they make friends, and they indirectly work together. Even after the Columba has gone, they become friends, and they even today meet as I speak.
Going back to what you said about seeing a boy child who's written off by society and comes back and they're a bit more better and stuff, usually we tend to not pay attention to them or hear what they have to say. And usually once you actually give them a chance and hear their voice, give them a voice, they really do have some very impactful stuff and very helpful.
Unfortunately, we must look at all kids. When I talk about vulnerable children, I mean boy and girl. But because of the history of the country, we know that women have been neglected, and they are still vulnerable as we speak now. But unfortunately, we focus more on them, which is not a wrong thing. But we also need to say, this boy who is troublesome needs someone to mentor him, needs someone to give him guidance and direct him to the right way of living.
Yeah, thank you so much. Karabo, grade 10 was a very scary year for you. You had like a health scare, and I think that's when you met Columba and started with your journey.
Most definitely.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Columba became that hope that I needed to know that I'm on the right track, you know. When I met Columba, or when Columba found me, that's the proper way to say it. When Columba found me, I was very down. I had a health scare. I've just been diagnosed with a touch of cancer, and I've been absent from school for like the whole term. And you must bear in mind that when you are in grade 10, this is where you get introduced to the stream that you'll be doing, studying towards what you want to get enrolled for in varsity. So I remember most teachers were fighting for me to do science, some commerce, and I was like, no, I'm going for general. I'm going to study history, geography, and tourism. So I missed the whole of term 1. I couldn't go to school. And term 2, when I come back, my teacher, Mr. Scarlello, was like, okay, there's people who came here, they're looking for leaders, and I left a space for you. Come and do an interview. And I'm like, hey, when I just got back, I'm sick. I don't think I'm fit. What do you mean? And I went there and I gave it my shot, and I was selected, which is good. I was a very introverted extrovert. I don't know if I make sense. You know, when you are comfortable with your people, but when it's time for you to really, really showcase who you really are, and you just have this thing that says, no, I can't do it, you know. Columba made me aware of myself. Now I'm quoting from their values. They made me aware of myself, and with my health scare and everything that I've been through, they've helped me to persevere. I never used to be so outspoken. I never, trust you me when I say you wouldn't hear Karabo say a thing, but today I'm vocal because of Columba and the impact they've had on my life. I had traumas, you know, that were unspoken for. I had issues that were not addressed. But the moment I came back from the camp, yay, my home, it was on fire. I had to call everyone and be like, guys, I need clarity. I need this, I need that. So, Columba made me who I am. You know, they played a role, and till today, that's why I'm saying it feels good to come back home to water the same people that kind of fertilized you, you know. You know, when somebody comes and plants something in you, do not be greedy with sharing the fruits of their labor. So that's why I'm here today.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
That's inspiring.
Thank you.
Tlhokomelo, you recently matriculated last year, so your journey is a bit more recent compared to Mr. Makhubu and Karabo. Can you tell us a bit about yours?
When I went to Columba in 2023, I did not even think of writing. I haven't started writing anything. And then during the academy, they taught us how, during the day of creativity, they taught us how to write a book and how to start it. And then I had the urge, when I went back home, I had the urge of starting to write. And then I saw many kids who were like repeating grades over and over and again. So I started doing research about dyslexia. And then that's when I started, after doing my research, I started writing. And then end of grade 11, that's when I was finished. And then I took my book for editing and proofreading.
So how did like writing the book make you feel? Were you feeling very accomplished afterwards, or what were the feelings once you're done with your book?
After writing my book, I felt very accomplished because I felt like it's going to help people who are dyslexic, and not only people who are dyslexic, it's going to create awareness to people who have people who are dyslexic around them. And yeah, I felt good after writing it.
So you're saying you saw a lot of people repeating grades and stuff, so that's mainly the inspiration behind your book, or is there any other thing?
Yes, that's the inspiration behind my book.
Okay, Karabo, what about you? What inspired you to write your book?
I've written a lot of books.
Okay, which one?
I'll just go for Women Talk, Tears and Tissues, because I think that is the one that I held so closely to my heart before I could produce other books. I wrote Women Talk, Tears and Tissues on a contrast of personal, social and economical reasons. You know, it was just not about an ideology of knowing how to write a book, to express myself, to articulate and give examples here and there. But growing up in a family of that is female dominated, it made me quite be interested in, okay, there's no male figure in my family. How are we then accomplishing a lot of things as though we do have that male power, you see? So on my first chapter, I literally made a comparison between my late brother and I, that if women talk tears and tissues, that on its own explains itself. I remember when my mother would buy us toys, she would allow my brother to choose whatever that he wanted to choose, and he would go for toys like a gun, cars, trains, this and that. You know, they are outgoing, they are industrial. So the message that I came to interpret is also, you guys allowing him to go outside and to be himself, but why are you nurturing me? Why are you guys buying me a doll? Why are you buying me a stove? So is this how you're training me to say, I am not going to be something so big to a point that I can even compete in a male-dominated sector or industry? Why are you guys nurturing me to say, oh, when you grow up, you're going to be a wife, you're going to be a mother, you're going to take care of kids? So I wanted to challenge that status quo, to say women talk tears and tissues today because we've got cultural conversations that were had without our permission to say, you're going to be a wife, you are a doctor, you must be submissive. Yes, I can be submissive, but with obedience. And for me to be submissive, I have to feel secured. You get my point? So this book in particular, I would say it's a dedication to my grandmother before the rest of the women in our nation, because I've seen how she's been suppressed in the name of being a woman, in the name of being a mother, in the name of being a grandmother. She was expected to be a matriarch, but what about who she was outside of those labels we've labeled her? You get my point? So you grow up getting nurtured, you are a daughter, and then you become a wife, you become a grandmother. What about being Karabo Digasho? I want to be an actress. What about that one? So most of my books, I write them with intention. It started off as an idea, but when I look deep into them, I'm like, no, there's no way. Let me challenge this thing and see how it goes about. So mostly what inspires me to write my book, it is mostly about something that comes off from an idea, and then I want to challenge it. And there goes a lot of research into it before writing a book, because you also don't want to come up with an issue that is already existing, but it has been failed to be partaked on. You see, so when you write, it has to be something elong gore, you are endorsing it for more understanding, clearer understanding. You get my point?
I love what you said about what about me, what I want. Because usually when you grow up, it seemed like us getting married, having kids, that's like the dream for most women. And it's like, what if I don't want to get married? I want to just be whoever I am, like whatever career I want to go to and stuff. So
there's a life outside of that label. There is a life.
And you, Mr. Makhubu?
I'm here.
What inspired your book?
I had so many stories to tell. Yeah, people have been asking me, because the school, when it started, I established a school from nowhere with no chalk, no chalkboard. I collected children outside of the school who wanted to go to school, but no one wanted them. And I put them together, and it's like it's told in the story. I don't want to talk about the story, but it's about a triumph over adversity. How did we try to work out with the few teachers that I got who were unemployed? How did we sacrifice ourselves into starting a school that became the flag bearer in the country? Because the school started from rags to riches, literally. So a lot of people kept on asking me questions, but why don't you tell us about your journey? And I saw a lot of media, people getting interested in my story even before I told the story, because people who had bits and pieces of the stories of what was happening in the school. And I was in the media, I don't know how many times now. Like I was saying, They even had a documentary about my life and the life I had with the school. Every newspaper in the country, every television station. In fact, there was a time when I was actually even a teacher of the year. I was interviewed for an hour on ENCA. So people said, no, but Makhubu, you've got stories to tell. Just tell us the story. So that inspired me I never thought I was going to be an author. I'm just a mathematician. I'm not an English teacher, you know. So I said, but why am I going to put this together? And now one day the light bulb said, "Ding," and then I started writing and it never stopped. So even now I'm trying to write more books of inspiring others so that they can see that life is not as clear as they see it now. Because you can move from being the one that has been is downtrodden. I'm talking about the school, which was a pariah of the society when I started it, because I had a lot of gangs, a lot of children who were wayward, who actually belonged to prison. But I had to change their mindset to think positively so that they can contribute positivity to the society.
Your book is titled Vagabond Principle. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Vagabond, principle, dodging bullets, literally. A vagabond is a person who does not have his place of abode. So when I started the school, we didn't have classrooms. So we went to a school hall, the civic center. Were kicked out because the school was not registered. We went to a school that was empty. We were kicked out. And the Department of Education did not want to register the school until we got a principal who was a friend to me who said, no, come and use this part of the school. We're not using it. And the school was registered. And then from there, the school moved from leaps and bounds to be one of the top schools in the country.
Mr. Makhubu, you were only 32 years when you started the school. How did that feel?
I was very young, very naive, a person who did not even understand himself at that time, at my age. It was very hectic. It was a big mountain to climb, very scary. I could not sleep properly for years because the challenges were huge. To crown it all, when we collected all the people who did not go to school, were dropouts, the teenage mothers who were kicked out by the system, because at that time, when you had a girl child, you had a child, the schools kicked you out. There was this thing which was called age limit. If you keep on failing, they kicked you out because of age limit. And there were those who left school on their own volition, but wanted to come back. So I invited all and sundry, including those who were older than I was at that time. I think I had students who were 45, 50-year-olds who came and started afresh. We gave them that opportunity to repurpose their lives. They did. Some of them today, I meet them. They are big nurses. Some of them, they retired before me. In fact, there was one who had a big party. I was a guest of honor because I gave her an opportunity to start afresh.
May I please interject a bit, Mr. Makhubu? It was just a tip of an aspect to democracy when you started the school, right? How did you decode your lack of support? Because I'm sure you didn't have support.
I did not have support. I did not have support from my colleagues. I didn't have support from my family. I did not have support from the Department of Education then, because it was started in 1992. That was before the democracy. It was during apartheid. So I was, in fact, instead of being supported, I was harassed by police to an extent that I used to sleep in my car. And that is why the family came in to say, leave this thing alone. What are you mad? Leave this thing alone, because I could not focus on my family. So because I was targeted. There was a time when I was asleep in my house and someone came and shot outside of the yard. Quah, quah, quah. Yeah. So it was one way of scaring me because people were intimidating me not to do what I was doing, because it was amazing to get the very, very uncouth learners, the very, very problematic children to one place, and people were surprised that these kids were listening to me when the society had already written them off.
It must have been also very scary because now you're leaving, because I'm pretty sure you left your job and then focused solely on opening up the school. So that must have been very scary.
I was working, so I was doubling up. I was a maths teacher in a school at Mabuya High School. During break, I would go and see whether my children are doing well. And those teachers, I did not have money to pay, who said they want to volunteer to keep these ones, to keep the home fires burning whilst you are busy at the other side. So that's how I worked. And then in the afternoon, after I knocked off at my school at 3 o'clock, I would go there and platoon and run the school until 6 o'clock at night to go and teach those, even though I was not getting paid for it, together with the teachers, and all of them were female. I was the only man.
And looking back at your journey, how do you feel about it all?
Fulfillment. What I had yearned for, I actually achieved. It was not like a vision that I had thought was going to be successful. But because I wanted to do what I wanted to do then, because in fact I was one of the founders of the Union of Teachers, the SATU. And then when they saw me doing this thing, there's chapter 1 here in the book talks about them wanting me to fail, even when I started the school. It's a big word. I'm avoiding to use that big word. Yeah, starting to fail. That's how I started realizing that I'm on my own. Now I feel good that they saw it, like as a Christian. The Lord put it in front of them as a show off, that you see where it started. Where I was now at the time where I was earning awards. I think it was confirmed that I'm the only school principal in the country who has won 4 awards, national awards. Lifetime Achievement Award, award in school leadership, Kada Asmal Award. There are 3 actually. The 4th one is not part of that, but it was from a Lord Mayor from England who came to give me an award for the work that I was doing.
So you not only achieved your vision, I feel like you even surpassed it. You did way more than what you probably imagined.
In fact, I also gained from what I was doing, because it was not my intention to get rewarded, but indirectly, I feel that I've achieved what I wanted.
And you, Tlhokomelo, what inspired your book?
What inspired my book is that when I was in primary, when I was doing grade 3, I had friends who were doing grade 7. So they went to high school earlier, and then when I go to high school, I found them there. They were repeating grades, and then some thought they were slow learners, and that's how other learners and some teachers labeled them. So I was curious, how were they repeating grades? How can you repeat one grade more than 2 times? And then I started doing my research, and I found out that some people, it's not that they are slow learners or they are lazy, it's just that they are differently able. Some have dyslexia, which is, in most of schools, they don't have resources to help children who are dyslexic, because children who are dyslexic, they don't learn the normal way. They rather use oral tests rather than writing down, and they use audio books, and they also need more time to complete tasks that are given to like everyone in class. So most teachers, they don't know how to help them, and also the parents, I feel like the parents are not supportive enough towards these children who are dyslexic. So they end up feeling like those children are naughty and they are lazy. So those words that they say towards those kids sometimes makes the kids feel less confident, and that's why some kids end up dropping out. So I did my research and then I found out that some people are dyslexic. So I felt like there was a need for me to create an awareness. That's why I wrote this book. I wrote this book so that kids from like primary grade 6, they can like learn and they can accept children who are differently able, children who are maybe slower than them, or if like the child is dyslexic, they can accept themselves and feel like it's not that they are lazy or what, they just need to learn differently and they just need to put in more effort.
You said the parents don't support the kids. Maybe it's not even about them not supporting the kids. It could be they're not even aware of the problem or even how to address it. Do you not think maybe that might also be a case?
Yeah, that's the case sometimes.
Leaders see a need and they respond. Karabo, why a woman empowerment book in this day and age?
In this day and age, women are not safe. Women and children are not safe. And I believe as an author, I owe the world my contribution to create awareness, given the fact that our brothers and our fathers, we have to protect ourselves from them, whereas they should be our protectors. So I have come to realize that it is one of those heavy issues that we fail to address as women. So women to women, let us feed ourselves comfort. Let us be there for each other. Let us raise awareness to say, you do not have to be silent when you are going through something because you are afraid of being laughed at. And it also comes as part of the equation. You find that I confide in you as a fellow woman to say, I'm going through so and so, and then tomorrow it is something that you're discussing with my neighbor when you guys are having tea or anything. You see, everyone participates on social media. Let's create awareness to say, do not suffer in silence, and you do have rights. And as a woman, you deserve representation. You deserve to be a role model. You deserve not to be suppressed by cultural norms and values that were created way back before even our grandmothers were born. You see, so I think that's the main reason why I wrote the book, to bring in awareness to say, instead of fighting against each other, let us make sure that we are there for one another. Let us support each other as women.
I love that you said that, because it's not even about having a voice, because usually people do speak up, and then you have the same people they speak up towards. They're the ones who are then saying, are you sure that this really happened? What did you do? Did you lead them on? And usually we just need people to just hear us.
To hear us and to listen to us vent. It's not even about financial support, but sometimes being there to say, are you okay? Did you guys sleep well yesterday? It's all that matters.
Community.
That's the courage you all need.
Okay, Mr. Makhubu, a lot of teachers, leaders, or principals enter the system without being adequately prepared. How would your book help them?
Yeah, well, maybe we should start why are they not adequately prepared, and why do they want to go to leadership when they are not ready? It's because of politics. I'm sorry to say that politics have entered into the profession, especially in the townships. Now, it's not the capable, it's not the competent who must take over, like naturally becoming a deputy principal, and from being a deputy principal, then you are appointed based on your achievements, on what people can see you have achieved. Now, a person can parachute himself from being a post-level 1 teacher, just entered, as long as we've got 7 years of teaching, and become a principal because of some politics and nepotism. So that's why they are not ready. But being as it may, we need to assist those people to understand the gravity of being a leader in an institution where we have got more than 1,000 children. And you also have parents, because when you are a school principal, you are not only managing the children, you are managing the teachers, you are managing the parents, you are managing the society. There are many other stakeholders that come into being. So now if you write a book like this, the stories here from chapter 1 to chapter 15 about the real experiences of a principal, from gangsterism in schools, from children fighting over a chair because there are no chairs in the township school, from a case of teachers having affairs with school children is here in the book. Just to be open so that even the society must understand what is happening inside those walls, those fences of the school. So the book is about that. So those principals that have just joined in, they will need to be mentored. That is why a program like this one, a Columba mentorship program, is very vital. I was also inspired by it. Otherwise, I would not have written a book. Because when you go there, you come back, even though it was not directed at you. When you go there, you participate as well. You come back being a different person. So those people need such. I was happy that even after I had retired, the Department of Education called me to come and mentor principals. So I've mentored a lot of them to change their mindsets from being just ordinary to have growth mindset, where a teacher is not satisfied by only mediocre results. They must be satisfied that kids are doing well, but not only doing well academically. They must understand that the program here, the purpose here, is to build the character of the child, that even when the child is outside of the school, the child can stand on his own, the child can contribute positivity to the society. Those principals that need the support can find a lot in the book. If they can read the book, they will see the stories, even things that have to do with the comedy of running a school. There's a specific one that I enjoyed of a teacher who had an altercation with a child in class, and the teacher tried to fight the child, and the wig fell, and they found out that she did not have enough hair. In fact, she was having these stockings here, and she came to my office running. Those stories, And then when I tried to calm her down, everything was okay. When she took the wig, because there's no mirror in my office, she just put the wig, back side came in the front, and the front side came in front. It was such a nice story to tell. When we joked about it, to say, you must understand the child. Understand the child. You don't come with heavy attitudes and treat the children as if they are your enemies. They are children. They make mistakes.
No, so the book is not just about dodging bullets. There's also a little bit of comic relief in there.
Yes, the dodging bullets are literally dodging bullets, like I said in the past, but also there are chapters, historical chapters, where we buried students, because I take the book before 1992. In the 80s, when I was a teacher, would bury a lot of children because they would be shot by police and the soldiers. Every week we're burying them. And we would go to the cemetery, and we go there. They give us 15 minutes to bury. And if after 15 minutes has elapsed, they started shooting again. Next week we'll come back again to bury another one. So I was literally hearing the whizzing of bullets. What I'm talking about here is real. The real bullets, seeing people falling into empty graves. I saw that.
It must have been scary.
Very scary.
Tlhokomelo, in the last decade, there's been an increase in neurodivergent diseases. You wrote about dyslexia. What do you hope to see happening or achieve with the book?
I hope to see mindset shift, because how people view people with neurodivergent diseases, they make them seem as if they are crazy, or their minds are not normal. So I hope to see people accommodating them, and I hope to see schools, normal schools, and having resources that they can teach children with dyslexia, and the teachers being taught how to teach children with dyslexia, and also parents being involved in their children's journey throughout their school journey, because a child with dyslexia needs more attention and support from everyone around them. So I hope to see people changing how they think and how they see people with dyslexia and accepting them.
What you said about that, mainstream schools don't really have much resources or like properly equipped to deal with such, because usually they tend to take kids to special needs schools and stuff, and most families can't really afford to take their kids there. So that is a good one. Okay, Karabo. You're a dear matriculant, and youth unemployment and literacy in the country is actually a very big crisis. What do you hope? What was the whole point behind that?
The whole point behind writing Dear Matriculant, it is not many learners who would pass their matric, like Karabo passed her matric with straight A, you see. And I've come to realize that my younger sister is doing a matric this year. That's why I'm launching the book. But the root core of why I wrote the book is to give second chances to those who are deemed underdogs, to those who are overlooked, to those who are deemed rebellious. You find that one learner would study from grade 1 till matric, and then they don't get their desired results, and then there's no school that will accept them with their kinds of results. That's where I come in with skills development and training. We're giving them an opportunity to do something with their hands. That's oral work. And that will earn them an honest living and an honest employment that they create themselves through entrepreneurship. So you can imagine if now, via Dear Matriculant, we have learners that we are upskilling and they open their own businesses. So that way we are curbing unemployment. So that is my mission, that is my goal, that is the impact that I want to create with Dear Matriculant. It starts with the book that a matriculant need to read, that a matriculant need to access at the beginning of their journey of being a matriculant, so that whenever they read it, whenever they go through it, it is more like a GPS. You don't know where you're going, you only know the destination. I want to go into university, but how do you go about it? So this book will serve as a map to say, here you stop, there's a green light, this is pedestrian, this is this and that. And also I'm emphasizing the power of prayer as well. I know we have different beliefs, but prayer is something that brings us together, because in as much as we get anxious, in as much as we fear the unknown, how about we have faith towards the unknown, you see? So that's why I'm saying I wrote the book to give a second chance to those who are overlooked. I, for one, know how it feels like to be overlooked. I, for one, know how it feels like for a teacher to come into class and be like, oh, I'm taking Mr. Makhubu because he's intelligent. No. How about you try Karabo and let's see if maybe you give me a task, you explain it properly. Maybe I might surprise you, you see? So I am not saying we are overlooking those who are passing well. We wish them luck. We are going to plug them with university bursaries and all of those things, but our main focus being the underdogs and the ones who are overlooked. So that is what I'm hoping to achieve, to say, in as much as you won't be able to go to university, while you're still taking a gap year, figuring out what you're going to do, here's a skills development training that you can keep yourself busy with. And then, I mean, you see, we're living in a generation of the fourth industrial revolution, where in now almost everything, it is clamped with technology. If I teach you how to do lashes, you get yourself extra cash. And we're working with production companies as well. So if I'm teaching you how to do a prosthesis makeup artist, and we're shooting a movie and I need someone who's going to portray as though that person has a blue eye, you also come give us your services. That on its own is employment. We're creating jobs. So that is what Dear Matriculant is all about.
Earlier on, you spoke about how you were being coerced to do a certain stream, and you're like, no, that's not what I want. And usually, most kids don't speak up, they don't do that. They will study that stream, pass, whatever, but that's not really what they want. Or maybe they don't even know. They take the stream that's like supposed to guarantee them a job or a future. So maybe even with your thing, your skills development, they can now go after matric, go in there, figure out what they want.
True.
And then go forward and study into that field, and maybe just...
It happens to me. I studied LLB law, and it's only now I realize it's not for me. So I am deep into community now. I'm studying psychology now because I feel it is aligned with who I am and my being a philanthropist, you see. So I studied law. What am I doing in the courtroom? Why am I fighting? No, that's not who I am. I'm empathic. Let me go out there and serve the community. That's who I am.
Karabo, to the audience, how can they support your initiative?
Well, at first, I would say sponsorship, because sometimes it is such a bad thing to have an idea that you can see that it is skyrocketing and you don't have support. So to the audiences, if there's anyone who has the resources that would help endorse the project into being a successful one, please reach out, and help me identify schools in which you think they need this project to come to their schools, because in most cases you find that the schools that are well equipped, that are well informed, but there are other schools in which they struggle. So those are the kind of schools that we are wishing to impact. We're not saying we are segregating model Cs and all of those things, but we are saying, can we give other kids a chance to be better in life, not to be overlooked. So if there's anyone who's got resources or ideas or anything that can contribute to the successfulness of the project, I am more than happy to welcome them.
A little stepping stone.
Yeah, we are here. We are here.
Mr. Makhubu, you started your school, Unity Secondary School, with learners who others had written off, but you believed in their potential. How can principals nurture future leaders within their schools?
No, you see what you were talking about, it dovetails so nicely to what I was saying in terms of the young people who needed extra support. There's a big question that I always asked, to an extent that I was called to talk a paper at the First School of Governance regarding those young people who fall through the cracks. The ones that she spoke about, the children who drop out. Many drop out not because of any other thing except that they cannot cope with the curriculum, which is not streamlined for them, the curriculum that does not take care of their needs. Now, I suggested to the government when I was called by the minister to say, how about we bring back the vocational schools in the township, because they did away with them. So that all those kids who cannot cope with mathematics, all those who cannot cope with the academic rigors of matric can, after grade 9, go and learn how to use their hands. So in as much as we accept that there are those who will go to university, who will be our new middle class, who will go to university, do well, and come back, let us take care of those who cannot reach that level of the others. Let us see how we can assist them. We need plumbers in this country. We need electricians, even though we don't need them to be engineers. We need people who will do basic work in terms of welding. Because all the time we ask for people to come to do those jobs. It's normally foreigners who come from other countries who come and do these things for us. I'm sure people can attest to that. So we need as many of these kids to be entrepreneurs on their own. Come back from school because you could not cope with the program at the school. Go to further training or do the vocational training. Learn how to run a business. Maybe you can start your own business, or you can also be employed with that skill that you have just acquired. So this is what I'm saying in terms of inspiring the young people to do well in their lifetimes. We want to create, in our townships especially, breadwinners. We want to fight poverty. So for us to motivate these kids to keep being in the school, not to go out of the school and wander and become what people call the nyaupes of this world. So we don't want kids to be druggies. We don't want kids to focus on things that are not going to benefit them in the future. So we give them an opportunity so that they can change their lives. They can change how they think in terms of preparing for their own future. I'm happy that the government also has now marketed the ideas of the TVET college. All over the world, they've got these kind of colleges, community colleges. So the TVET college on its own is also not suitable for certain type of learners. There are those who do grade 11, fail grade 10 5 times and go to TVET college and do some training there, which is fine, but it's still not as suitable for those. I'm talking about the lowest of the low, the ones that cannot even cope at the TVET college. Let us bring them out. Let us ensure that one of the schools per township, even if in town, because even in white schools we have kids like that who are supposed to have the same situation. I'm not talking about township schools only, but let those kids who cannot cope because of dyslexia, but they can use their hands, let us give them that opportunity to also see that they can be able to, they can cope, and they can also do well when they do things using their hands.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind?
I don't think the legacy that I want to leave should be attached to my name. I'm just here to serve. I'm a vessel. So the works of my name, I don't know if I'm putting it properly. I don't want my name to be attached to the legacy because it is something that will go from generation to generation. You get my point? But the legacy that I'm leaving should be hope. There's a quote that I love so much that says, when the sun rises every day in the morning, it rises with hope. Anything less than hope is a reason why we should hold on. So that's the kind of hope I want to leave everyone with through my works. It does not necessarily have to be attached to my name because I came here to serve. God gave me this purpose to serve, and only Him who can be praised for it. So hope is what I'm leaving behind as my legacy.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
It can be done. No, I wanted to show people that it can be done. You can change the lives of others without you gaining anything out of it. When I went into this, I didn't go there because I wanted any remuneration. I didn't want any fame. I didn't want to go there to be recognized. I did it because it was the right thing to do. I know that already I named the school, I started the school. Unless they change the name of the school later, Unity Secondary School will always be attached to my name because I started the school. Like when I say I started the school, I'm not trying to be haughty. I'm trying to say it was difficult. I used my, resolve to make sure that the school starts despite all the difficulties that were there when the school was starting. So the school is there, is standing. When I'm away, learners that I've taught, learners that came through these hands, even today, I meet them everywhere. I meet them abroad. When I'm abroad, I meet them, their police, their teachers, their principals today. Some of them are, like I said, medical doctors. And when I meet them, they are happy. That makes me feel happy because already they are contributing positively to the society, and I was part of that.
Thank you so much.
The legacy that I want to leave behind is that we may be differently able, but then our differences does not make us any far difference than other people because we are still the same people of flesh and blood. We are the same in everyone's eyes. And so the legacy that I want to leave behind is that people who are differently able, they should be included and not excluded.
They're not less than. We're all just the same.
Yeah.
I hope you're all inspired. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you to all the schools, our DBE partners, funders, and staff for all the amazing work they do. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. That's amazing.
Lovely having you guys here.